My husband handed me divorce papers on Christmas morning. His mother threw champagne in my face. His family cheered. My own best friend stood beside him, wearing the necklace I'd bought her. They all thought I'd disappear quietly. They had no idea I'd been planning my revenge for months. Before this story unfolds, smash that subscribe button because what you're about to hear involves betrayal, a jaw-dropping twist, and a revenge so calculated it left an entire family begging for mercy. Don't skip ahead. Every detail matters. Let's begin. My name is Aurora, and for 8 years I thought I knew what love meant. I thought I understood loyalty. I thought family, whether by blood or marriage, meant something sacred. I was wrong about all of it. When I married Damien, I was 23 years old with stars in my eyes and hope in my heart. He was charming, ambitious, and came from a world I'd only seen in movies. The kind of world with summer homes and country club memberships where people said things like, "Our people will call your people." I came from a single mother who worked double shifts at a diner just to keep the lights on. Damien's family had a chandelier in their foyer that cost more than my childhood home. His mother, Gloria, made it clear from day one that I wasn't good enough. She'd look me up and down at family dinners with this expression like she'd stepped in something unpleasant. She called me the charity case behind my back, but loud enough for me to hear. Vincent, Damien's father, barely acknowledged my existence. He'd look right through me like I was furniture, and Natasha, Damien's younger sister, took every opportunity to remind me that I didn't belong in their world. But Damien said he loved me. He said I was different from all those superficial society girls. He said I was real, so I believed him, and I worked. God, did I work. I took on 3 jobs, waitressing in the morning, data entry in the afternoon, bartending at night. I put Damien through his real estate licensing courses. I funded his first property investment. I maxed out credit cards and skipped meals so he could network at expensive restaurants with potential clients. When his business finally took off, I thought things would get easier. I thought his family would finally see my worth. Instead, Gloria got colder. Vincent became more dismissive. Natasha's jabs got sharper, and Damien started coming home later and later. That's when Rachel entered the picture more prominently. Rachel had been my best friend since we were 12 years old. She was there when my mom died. She was my maid of honor. When she lost her job 2 years into my marriage, I convinced Damien to hire her as his personal assistant. When her mother needed surgery, I gave her $50,000 from my savings, money I'd been putting away since I was 16. She cried and called me her sister. She said she'd never forget what I did for her. I should have seen the signs earlier, but love makes you stupid. Trust makes you blind. About 3 months before that Christmas, things started feeling off. Damien would smell like perfume I didn't wear. He'd get text messages and suddenly need to step outside to take calls. I'd find receipts for jewelry I never received, reservations at restaurants we never went to together. Rachel started avoiding me, making excuses why she couldn't meet for our usual coffee dates. But the worst part? Gloria suddenly started being nice to me. She'd smile when I walked into a room. She'd ask about my day. She even complimented my dress once. That's when I knew something was terribly wrong, because Gloria had never been nice to me a single day in 8 years. So I did what any woman with a gut instinct does. I hired a private investigator, a good one, the kind who doesn't ask questions and gets results. I installed tracking software on Damien's phone when he was in the shower. I started documenting everything, every late night, every lie, every suspicious transaction. What I discovered shattered me. Damien and Rachel had been having an affair for 2 years. 2 years. While I was working myself to exhaustion, while I was defending him to my friends who said he was using me, while I was planning anniversary surprises, he was sleeping with my best friend. The investigator brought me photos, hotel check-ins, text messages that made me physically sick, Rachel calling him baby, Damien saying he'd leave me soon, he just needed to figure out the finances first. But the knife that cut deepest? The text messages from Gloria. She knew. She'd known the entire time. In fact, she'd encouraged it. I sat in my car reading message after message where Gloria told Damien that Rachel was perfect for the family. that she had the right breeding, that he needed to find a way to get rid of Aurora cleanly. I cried for 3 days straight. I didn't eat. I barely slept. I felt like my entire life had been a lie, but on the 4th day, something shifted inside me. The crying stopped. The grief transformed into something else, something cold and focused and absolutely merciless. I wasn't going to confront them. I wasn't going to scream or beg or give them the satisfaction of seeing me broken. No, I was going to destroy them so completely that they'd regret ever underestimating me. I started moving money, carefully, legally. I'd kept meticulous records of every dollar I'd contributed to Damien's business over the years. Turns out I had a legitimate claim to over $500,000. I contacted a lawyer, not just any lawyer, but the most ruthless divorce attorney in the state, a woman who smiled like a shark and had a reputation for leaving opposing parties in financial ruin. But I didn't stop there. While going through Damien's business documents to calculate my investment, I found something else. Something he'd hidden very carefully. Damien's real estate empire wasn't as clean as it looked. There was fraud, tax evasion, money laundering through shell companies. Vincent was involved too. I made copies of everything, every document, every shady deal, every illegal transaction. I spent the next 2 months preparing. I hired a forensic accountant. I organized evidence. I created a timeline. And I waited for the perfect moment to detonate the bomb I'd built. That moment was Christmas morning. Gloria insisted on hosting Christmas at their mansion like she did every year. It was her moment to show off to their social circle. 50 guests, catered food, a tree that touched the 12-foot ceiling. I arrived in a beautiful cream-colored dress I'd bought specifically for this occasion. I smiled, I laughed, I played the perfect daughter-in-law for the last time. I watched Rachel arrive with this nervous energy, wearing the pearl necklace I'd bought her for her birthday last year. I watched Gloria whisper to guests with this satisfied smirk. I watched Damien avoid eye contact with me while he touched Rachel's lower back when he thought no one was looking. After the gift exchange, Damien stood up with a champagne glass. My heart was pounding, but my face remained calm. He made some speech about new beginnings and honest living, words that tasted like poison coming from his mouth. Then he pulled out an envelope and set it in front of me. Divorce papers, right there, in front of 50 people, on Christmas morning. The room went dead silent. You could hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. Then Damien cleared his throat and actually started reading from the papers. "Irreconcilable differences," he said, like he was reading a grocery list. That's when Gloria stood up. She grabbed her champagne glass, walked over to me, and threw the entire thing in my face. The liquid burned my eyes. It dripped down my dress, and she smiled. She actually smiled and said, "Finally, finally we can have Rachel officially in this family where she belongs." Rachel stood up then, taking Damien's hand. She looked at me with these crocodile tears in her eyes and said, "I'm sorry, Aurora. I really am. But Damien and I are in love. We've been together for years. You can't fight real love." Then she held up her hand, showing off an enormous diamond engagement ring that must have cost more than my car. Natasha started laughing, that high-pitched, cruel laugh she'd perfected over years of looking down on people. "Did you actually think you belonged here? In this family? God, Aurora, you were always just a phase, a charity project for Damien to feel good about himself." Vincent finally spoke up, his voice cold and businesslike. "Sign the papers and leave with whatever dignity you have left. We'll give you a small settlement, enough to start over somewhere far from here." And then the guests started clapping. Actual applause, like this was all some entertaining performance they'd paid to see. I sat there, champagne dripping from my hair, 50 pairs of eyes on me, waiting for me to cry or scream or run. I could feel them all waiting for the breakdown. The scene, the dramatic exit where I'd be the crazy, emotional woman they could gossip about for months. Instead, I reached into my purse. I pulled out a napkin and slowly wiped my face. Then I smiled. Not a sad smile, not a broken smile, a cold, calculated smile that I'd been practicing in the mirror. "You want me to sign?" I said calmly. "Okay." I picked up the pen Damien had left on the table and signed my name. The room seemed to exhale with relief. Gloria's smile widened. Rachel squeezed Damien's hand. They thought they'd won. Then I reached back into my purse and pulled out a large manila envelope. I placed it on the table with a soft thud. "But first," I said, my voice steady and clear, "I have some Christmas gifts of my own." I opened the envelope and started pulling out documents, printed photographs first. I threw them across the table so they scattered like cards. Photos of Damien and Rachel kissing outside a hotel. Rachel in Damien's car. Damien's hand on Rachel's thigh at a restaurant. Each photo was dated, some from 2 years ago. Gloria's smile faltered. Vincent leaned forward. Damien went pale. 2 years, I said conversationally, like I was discussing the weather. They've been sleeping together for 2 years, but you all knew that, didn't you? I pulled out more papers, text messages. I started reading them aloud. "Rachel is perfect for our family," I read in a mocking voice. "That's you, Gloria, texting your son about his mistress. Find a way to get rid of Aurora cleanly. Also you. She's too stupid to ever find out. That one's from Damien to Rachel." The guests were dead silent now. Some were recording on their phones. This wasn't the entertainment they'd expected. "But here's my favorite part," I continued, pulling out bank statements. "See, I kept very detailed records of every penny I put into Damien's business over the years. Every contribution, every investment, every loan. Turns out, legally, I'm entitled to $500,000. Damien found his voice. You can't." "I already did," I said sweetly. "My lawyer filed the paperwork 3 days ago. The money was transferred to my personal account yesterday. Merry Christmas to me." Vincent stood up, his face turning red. "You can't just take money from the business. We'll sue you for everything." "Oh, Vincent." I turned to him with genuine pity in my voice. "You really want to go to court? Because I have more gifts." I pulled out another stack of documents, thicker this time. While I was digging through the business records to calculate my investment, I found something interesting. Shell companies, fraudulent property valuations, tax evasion going back 6 years, money laundering through offshore accounts. It's all here. Every single illegal transaction. The color drained from Vincent's face. Gloria grabbed the table for support. "I've already sent copies to the IRS," I said casually. "And the FBI. They should be contacting you after the holidays. Apparently, financial fraud is a federal offense. Who knew?" Damien stood up so fast his chair fell over. "Aurora, you don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," I cut him off. "You built your little empire on my money while screwing my best friend. Your parents helped you, and now you're all going to pay for it." Then I turned to Rachel. Sweet, innocent Rachel who was crying now, mascara running down her face. "Rachel," I said softly, "remember when your mom needed surgery? Remember that $50,000 I gave you, and that loan for your car, and the money for your rent when you were between jobs? I have promissory notes for all of it, signed by you. I'm calling them in. You have 30 days to pay me back, with interest." Rachel's legs seemed to give out. She grabbed Damien's arm for support. "Aurora, please, I don't have that kind of money. You know I don't." "Then you shouldn't have slept with my husband," I said simply. But I wasn't done. I pulled out my phone and opened my email. I also took the liberty of sending all of this evidence, the affair, the fraud, everything, to everyone in your contact lists. Your country club friends, Gloria, your church group, your charity boards, your business partners, Vincent, that politician your fiancé is related to, Natasha. I sent videos, photos, documents, everything. I looked around at their horrified faces. "Actually, it's already gone viral in your social circles. Check your phones. I'm sure the messages are piling up." Gloria's phone started buzzing. Then Vincent's, then Natasha's. They all pulled out their phones and I watched their faces crumble as they read message after message. "You've destroyed us," Gloria whispered, tears actually forming in her eyes. "You've destroyed everything." "No," I said, standing up and smoothing my dress. You destroyed yourselves. I just made sure everyone else could see what I've been seeing for years. You're cruel, shallow, fraudulent people who use others and throw them away. I was just the first person you underestimated who actually fought back. I picked up my purse and walked toward the door. That's when the begging started. Vincent moved to block my path. We can negotiate. Name your price. We'll fix this. Gloria actually dropped to her knees. The woman who'd treated me like garbage for 8 years was on her knees on her imported Italian marble floor. Please, Aurora, think of the family reputation. We'll give you anything. Money, properties, whatever you want. Damien grabbed my arm. I looked down at his hand, then up at his face. He was crying. Aurora, please, we can fix this. I'll end it with Rachel right now. We'll go to counseling. I'll do anything. Just stop this. Please. Rachel was sobbing so hard she could barely speak. I'll leave the city. I'll disappear. Just don't destroy me financially. Please, I'll never contact him again. Natasha blocked the door, her face desperate. You can't do this to us. Do you know what this will do to my engagement? To my life? Please, we can work something out. I looked at each of them, these people who'd made me feel worthless, who'd laughed at me, who'd betrayed me in the worst possible way, and I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, just cold, empty nothing. Damien, I said quietly, removing his hand from my arm. Enjoy, Rachel. Your company will be bankrupt in 3 months without my investment and with federal investigators crawling through your records. I turned to Rachel. Enjoy your debt collectors. To Gloria, enjoy explaining this to your country club friends. To Vincent, enjoy prison. Wire fraud carries a 20-year sentence. To Natasha, enjoy your reputation. I pushed past them and walked out the door. Behind me I heard Gloria screaming, Vincent yelling, Damien begging. I didn't look back. The next few weeks were chaos, but I watched it all from a safe distance through my lawyer and a friend who still had connections in their social circle. The IRS raided Damien's office 3 days after Christmas. Vincent's assets were frozen. Gloria was expelled from 3 different charity boards in 1 week. Natasha's fiancé broke off their engagement via text message. Rachel got evicted from her apartment when she couldn't pay rent. They tried everything to reach me. Damien called 200 times. I never answered. Gloria sent her sisters to my new apartment building. Security didn't let them up. Vincent tried to threaten legal action. My lawyer crushed every attempt. They offered money, apologies, promises. My response through my lawyer was always the same. No contact. Ever. By the 2nd month, the domino effect was in full swing. Damien's business partners sued him. The mansion went into foreclosure. Gloria and Vincent had to sell their cars, their jewelry, everything to pay legal fees. Rachel filed for bankruptcy. Natasha was working at a retail store in a mall, a job she'd once said was beneath her. Their entire social circle had shunned them. Every club membership was revoked. Every invitation was rescinded. They went from the top of society to social pariahs in less than 60 days. 3 months after that Christmas, I received a letter. Not from a lawyer, just a plain envelope with handwritten address. Inside was a letter from Gloria. It wasn't typed. It wasn't formal. It was handwritten on her personal stationery, and the handwriting was shaky, desperate. Aurora, it started. I know I have no right to contact you. I know you told me never to reach out, but I need to say this, even if you tear this letter up without finishing it. I destroyed my own family, not you, me. I was jealous of you from the moment Damien brought you home. You had something I never had. Dignity, grace, genuine kindness. My son loved you in a way he'll never love anyone else, and I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand that a girl from nothing had captured his heart when all the society girls I pushed at him left him cold. So I encouraged his worst impulses. I welcomed Rachel because she was someone I could control, someone who would be grateful. I thought I was protecting my family's status. Instead, I destroyed everything we had. Damien is broken. He's lost everything. Vincent barely speaks to me. Natasha won't take my calls. And it's all my fault. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that you were right about all of us. We're exactly as terrible as you showed the world, and you were always too good for us." I read that letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer and never responded. 6 months after that Christmas, I was standing in a penthouse apartment overlooking the city. My penthouse. I'd taken that $500,000 and started a business consulting firm that specialized in helping women rebuild their lives after leaving abusive relationships. I helped them with financial planning, legal resources, job placement. The business exploded. I was profiled in Forbes. "From betrayed to billionaire," the headline read. I was attending a high-profile business gala, wearing a burgundy gown that cost more than Gloria's engagement ring. I was surrounded by people who respected me, valued me, saw me for who I actually was. That's when I saw him across the room. Damien. He looked terrible. He'd aged 10 years in 6 months. His suit was off the rack instead of custom-tailored. His shoulders were hunched. He was there because his new employer had dragged him along. He was working as a regular sales associate now, no longer the owner. Our eyes met across the room. I saw the moment he recognized me. Saw the shock, the pain, the regret flood his face. He started walking toward me. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but I didn't. I stood there, calm and composed, and waited. "Aurora," he said when he reached me. His voice cracked on my name. "Please, just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. "I lost everything," he said, words tumbling out desperately. "The business is gone. My parents won't speak to me. Natasha blames me for ruining her life. Rachel left me the second the money ran out. I'm in therapy. I'm on medication for depression. I wake up every day in a tiny apartment and remember what I had, what I threw away." He took a shaky breath. "You were the only real thing in my life, and I destroyed it. I destroyed you. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was weak and selfish and cruel, and you deserved so much better." I looked at this man I'd loved for 8 years. This man I'd worked myself to exhaustion for. This man who'd betrayed me in the worst possible way. And I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no lingering hurt. Just nothing. "Damien," I said finally, my voice soft but firm. "I forgave you months ago. Not for you, for me, because carrying that anger was like drinking poison and expecting you to die." Hope flickered in his eyes. "But forgiveness doesn't mean I forget," I continued. "It doesn't mean I trust you. It doesn't mean I want you in my life in any capacity. You taught me something valuable. I'm stronger alone than I ever was with you. I don't need you. I don't need your family. I don't need anyone who can't see my worth." "I see it now," he whispered. "Too late," I said simply. "I hope you find peace, Damien. I really do. But you won't find it with me. You won't find it by apologizing to me or making amends. You'll find it by becoming a better person than the one who handed me divorce papers on Christmas morning while your mother threw champagne in my face." I stepped around him. "Goodbye, Damien." "Aurora, wait." I kept walking. I didn't look back. I didn't need to, because here's what they all failed to understand. They thought breaking me would be easy. They thought I'd cry and beg and fall apart. They thought I'd disappear quietly and let them move on with their lives while I suffered in silence. But I'd been broken before. By life. By loss. By struggling to survive in a world that didn't care if I made it or not. Damien and his family weren't the first people to underestimate me. They were just the first ones I decided to teach a lesson. The best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. Any idiot with anger and resources can do that. The best revenge is becoming someone they can never touch again. Someone so far above them that their opinions become irrelevant. Someone so successful that their betrayal becomes the biggest mistake of their lives. I didn't just survive what they did to me. I conquered it. I took their worst and turned it into my greatest motivation. Damien is working a regular job now, living in a studio apartment, going to therapy twice a week to deal with his guilt and depression. Gloria and Vincent lost their mansion and downsized to a small house in the suburbs. Their marriage is hanging by a thread. Natasha married someone for money and is miserable. Rachel left the city entirely and works 2 jobs to pay off her debts. And me? I'm thriving. I have a multi-million-dollar business. I have friends who actually value me. I'm dating someone new who treats me like I'm precious, but most importantly, I have myself back. The girl I was before, I thought I needed to shrink to fit into someone else's life. They thought they were teaching me a lesson when they humiliated me that Christmas morning. They thought they were showing me my place. Instead, they showed me my power. They showed me that I'm capable of standing alone, that I don't need validation from people who never valued me, that I can rebuild from nothing because I've done it before. So if you're listening to this and you've ever been betrayed by people who should have loved you, if someone has ever made you feel small or worthless or invisible, hear me when I say this: they're wrong. Their treatment of you says everything about them and nothing about you. You don't need closure from people who broke you. You don't need them to understand what they did wrong. You don't need their apology or their regret or their realization that they made a mistake. You just need to stand up, dust yourself off, and build something so magnificent that they can't help but see it. Something so beautiful that they'll spend the rest of their lives knowing they had it and threw it away. They can break your heart. They can take your trust, they can steal your peace, but they can never ever take your ability to rebuild. They can never take your power to rise. I didn't just survive what they did to me. I turned it into fuel. I turned their betrayal into my greatest comeback. And you can too. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been underestimated or betrayed by the people who should have loved you most, drop a comment below with the word RISE. Let's build a community of people who refuse to stay down. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I share stories like this every week, stories about real people who turned their pain into power. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's going through their own betrayal right now and needs to know they'll survive it. They'll do more than survive. They'll conquer. Remember, they can take your trust, your money, even your peace, but they can never take your ability to rebuild. You are not your worst moment. You are every moment you chose to stand back up. Now go out there and show them what they lost. Show them who you really are, and watch them realize too late that losing you was the biggest mistake they ever made. I'm Aurora, and this is my story of how Christmas morning became the day I stopped being someone's victim and became my own hero.